Are you making eBay harder than it needs to be? Well, chances are you are, because recently I had a bunch of eBay sellers apply to have their seller accounts roasted by me. And after reviewing them, I came to realize that there were a bunch of mistakes that these guys were making over and over again, which was truly wrecking their chances of making additional sales. So in today's video, I want to go through these 3 chosen seller accounts. I want to show you all of the mistakes that they're making and exactly how to go about fixing them so you can adopt the same principles and generate some more sales for yourself. Okay, our first contestant is Seth. Now, Seth has the eBay store called Aunt Annie's Antiques. He's got 137 active items in store. He's got 100% positive feedback, 124 sales. So I dare say that Seth is a top-rated eBay seller. I want to start with Seth's store around his photos because this is the biggest thing that he can look to improve, I believe. We've got here some really big, large grey banners that you can see next to his products. Now, that can be removed and we can use up all of the real estate if we just change the aspect ratio of Seth's phone to a 1:1 aspect ratio. That will square out the image when he takes his shot. It will allow the product to become much larger when that photo is taken, and it's going to remove those grey bands, which are just obviously hindering his photos and the way they present here on the cover shot. So that's a really quick one. I've got a little issue here in his photos. He does only have 5 photos. He's done really well at capturing all the different angles of his photos, but he's probably missing a back shot of the VHS tape for photo number 6. Now, eBay loves you to have at least a minimum of 6 photos in your listing. You can have up to 24, but what you don't want to do is be caught out in this scenario where you only have 5 or 4 or 3 product photos. You want as many as you possibly can, and you want to show every single aspect of the photo. So if we have a look at the title, there is a lot of work that we need to do to these titles, to be honest with you. The first thing that I'm going to show you guys is capital letters. We really need to remove capital letters from our title. The mummy right there, we've also got this one here as well, George Romero. That needs to be removed as well because the capital letters don't help from a search perspective. We've also got, I guess, symbols or punctuation. We want to be removing punctuation from our titles and we just want to be sticking to words and letters only. So no bold capital letters, but also no symbols or punctuation as well. So Tom Hanks, these little dashes, slashes, brackets, commas, all of these things can be removed because you've got to think like a buyer when you're creating a title. If I'm a buyer and I'm looking for this VHS tape, Evil Dead, what am I going to put into the search bar to try and find Evil Dead VHS? It's probably going to be as simple as it sounds, Evil Dead VHS. And that would bring up a results. eBay's going to go out looking for Evil Dead VHS. Now, if you've got something like PAL videotape, original small box, Evil Dead VHS, you've used all of the wrong words at the beginning of your title that isn't going to directly match with what the consumer is searching for. So this is the problem that we've got on a couple of instances here with Seth's page. He hasn't front-ended the most important keyword information on every single one of his listings. Having said that though, looking across the board, it is pretty good. It is pretty decent. National Lampoon's European Vacation VHS tape. Well, that's pretty good. You could probably remove that little dash in the middle there on vacation and VHS, but that's not too bad. What I don't like is like VHS videotape Howling 3. That is not there. That VHS videotape should not be there. Yes, it's still a really important keyword, but that needs to be moved to the back end of the title. And this marsupials also needs to be lowercase, and the colon as well, position there, we probably don't need that either. So just a few little things there with regards to the titles, but they are very, very important. And with regards to price points as well, I've just looked across the board and I've seen that the price points are, well, they're quite small. $8.95, $12.95. Like when these go on to sell, you take out the fees, you got to ship it off. Like how much money are you actually making? Like Silence of the Lambs, $8.95, it costs me $8.76 to ship off that Silence of the Lambs. So even if it's myself on a band 5 discount, I'm standing to make about 19 cents if that item goes on to sell before I have to remove fees from the order. So that item should never be listed up individually. These are what we call junk listings that just are done as store fillers, but they're not actually generating any results for us. National Lampoon Vacation, $10.95, remove it. Does not need to be in there. You don't need to be spending all of these minutes that build up over time on dud listings that aren't worth a lot of money. And Seth, to be honest, as you can see, has quite a few of them. So I would say, as good as it is that Seth's gone in and done 137 listings, he could arguably get this store to under 100 listings, manage a much smaller store, but generate faster sales because the items that are in are actually great fast selling items. And a lot of the reason that gets it to become a fast selling item is price points. Now, the price points that we've done from a comparison check, Evil Dead VHS tape, a $99.95 sale price. I had a look at these, and the best-selling VHS tape for Evil Dead, $70. So Seth has got to do a little bit of work here in just double-checking every single one of his listings to try and make sure that these orders and these products that he's got for sale are matching what they've gone on to sell for over the last 90 days. So this item here for $100 should probably be removed, Evil Dead, down to about $60, $65. He'll have a much better chance of it going on to sell because that is what the market of eBay is saying over the last 3 months, 90 days. If I do some generalized feedback, I've got a few things that I like. 100% positive feedback is great. He's got 62 feedback score, which is good. He is charging an additional $10.95 on postage on top of that $99.95. Even if this item was worth $100 and you wanted to get $110, I would still try and market it with free postage. It'll show a free little button will appear down the bottom there, which just looks more appealing. And you could market your product for $109.95 free postage. It would just look psychologically better, in my opinion. Delivery as well, if you went same day, you would get a little button that appears below these dates, and it would say if you bought the item within the next couple of hours, the buyer will ship the item out, or the seller will ship the item out to you right away. That's a huge selling benefit, gets people acting fast. And then you've also got returns here as well. You've got no returns accepted. I would go ahead and turn those returns on because in my store, I'm only getting them 1% of the time. So look, all in all, Seth, a pretty decent start. Not sure how long you've been selling on eBay for, but the numbers are decent. You've had 100 sales under your belt, so you are looking pretty promising in the sense of being a top-rated seller. But I think you could speed up the process just by working on the listings that you've got here. All right, our next brave contestant is Joel Brown. Joel Brown has 41 items sold. He has also a massive 200 item eBay store there. So the sell-through rate, look, he has said in his email that he is just slowly getting started with eBay. So it might be a case of him just putting in items as quick as he can. So let's have a look at these items and we'll see what we think. Firstly, I am loving the fact that a large amount of these items do have the square that we were speaking about before. In Seth's store, he didn't have the square, he had these banners. You can see the difference between the two. So I think what's happened here is Joel's been able to realize that he needs to square out his photos, and these books just might be some old listings in his account, because it makes a very, very big difference when you've got product photos like this compared to product photos like this. So really nice that he's obviously been able to work that out, and he's obviously gone ahead and made those changes, which is brilliant. Really bright white background from what I'm seeing here too. Nice white background on these products, which is great. And I think I've got into a few of these listings and had a bit of a look, and it looks to me like he has got a stack of product photos. And these photos are looking really nice. Bright white background, really clear shot. He could probably look to fill up the real estate a little bit more. You could probably zoom in on that one a little bit more. That one's not too bad. What I mean by real estate is just filling out every single part of the photo that it's giving you, rather than having it, that one's nice. You don't want to cut off product photography though. You don't want to cut off the sides there. But overall, he's got a stack of photos. They are brightly lit up. You can see what it is. I don't have a problem with that. We've also got here capital letters. We've also got symbols throughout that I've noticed. When we're talking about front-ending the most important keywords, 29X, not a great way to start a title. So that's going to have to look to get changed. The complete book collection of quilting, well, that does actually match the title, the complete book of quilting. So that's perfect. Wouldn't have a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, look, capital letters, that's a really bad one there. ASICS Brisbane Broncos training cap, we've got to be changing that. I wouldn't be front-ending it with the word ASICS either. And I would also give a size recommendation as well. So if this is an adult's hat, a children's hat, whatever the case may be, I would be stipulating that in there as well. Things like this is very much sell similar. I can instantly see that he's gone ahead and sold similar, or he's used eBay's generic title that they give you. I would still go ahead and change every single one of your titles, guys. Create your own structure, front end the most important keyword information. You'll have a much more success rate. But look, these lines, marble, whatever that symbol or punctuation marker is, that needs to be removed. Marble character encyclopedia, hardcover book, we've got to use the key term word of book in there. We're missing that. We don't need to be putting in free postage either. That's just junk characters to try and get ourselves towards 60 to 80, and we don't need it. 3x Mercedes Lakey book bundle, get rid of that as well. So there's quite a lot that we need to change here with our titles. It's often the number one thing that I see is that most people have got fairly average titles, and that's halting impressions being found, page views being obviously accumulated, and then out of those page views, sales taking place. So you can improve your impressions and page views just by simply building better titles. And we've spoken about all the reasons of how you can go about doing that so far in this video. Let's have a look at the pricing. Big alarm bell moment when I looked at his store. You could probably see it yourself if you spend any time on eBay. He has whole numbers for his price points, which in the eyes of eBay and the eyes of trying to be the lowest price seller, if you're trying to sell this item for $58, firstly, the $8 is surprising. So is the $7 here. I'm not sure what his tactics are there. But whole numbers like 60, you could have 5 other items that are trying to sell their product here for $60. And as soon as I write $59.95, I immediately go to the top of the list of the $60 sellers. If I go 94 cents, then I'm beating the 95-cent sellers. So ultimately, you've just got to find a sweet spot. Pick a number that's a 95 or a 96 or a 97 from a cents perspective, and make that your set number for your price points. He's losing the opportunity to go slightly higher up in the search bar just by mispricing his item by a couple of cents. So it makes a really, really big difference there. Some items are priced too high in my pricing comparison check of this store. Not sure exactly where it was, but I was looking at an item like this one, Traffic Secrets for $29. Unfortunately, there are just simply no sales in the Australian market for Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson, and the sales that I was seeing over in America are going for about $10 to $15. So to be able to price this up for $29, I'm not sure where Joel's been able to find this price point. I dare say it's probably not going to sell in any short length of time. This one's probably going to sit there for a while until he does something about it. He also isn't using keywords in his title like paperback book or hard-covered book. Those keyword terminologies are just going to help eBay find this product for the buyer, additionally to the other keywords that he's already got like Russell Brunson and Traffic Secrets. So a bit of work that we can do on that one there. The pricing was just quite off, and it is going to be the case for quite a number of other items as I was doing my research. I think there was one at the top here, Del Toro Quest, this one here, $35. That is the best sale price on eBay. And when you're just starting out and you've only sold 41 items, you can't be pricing your item up for $35 as the best sale price over the last 90 days. You would need to come in at about 25 to 30 and be a bit more midfield with your price points. But ultimately, it's not too bad. It's looking pretty decent. If we go into his account and have a look at the benefits, you can see here he is doing free postage, which is fantastic. He is also doing 30-day returns, which I love to see. He is saying that the buyer will pay for the return. I always like to do seller pays, just as an additional benefit. It doesn't happen very often, so why not? But he could improve things by speeding up his shipping and handling time there. There's no mark to say. It's a bit like CES, this one. It's just basically saying that I'll get it out to you over the next few days, which there's no urgency around it being able to be sent out soon. But overall, not a bad store. I've gone ahead and I've marked these out of 10. We've got an 8 out of 10 for photos, a 7 out of 10 for title, and the price points, they probably need the most work in this store. I've given it a 5 out of 10. And our third brave contestant is Liana and Katya from Blue Voloshka. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Look, this is looking to be a fantastic store right off the get. Some markers here, I've got 943 items sold, so these girls know a thing or two about how to sell an item. We've got 100% positive feedback, 714 feedback score, which is just brilliant. And then we've got 63 items in store. So really, really good sell-through rate. Whatever these girls list up, they generally have go on to sell, which is brilliant. Now, some things that I'm seeing here, let's break this down. Photos. Have a look at these photos. If we talk about all the fundamentals, every single one of these photos has been squared out. The product takes up the majority of the image. So when we're talking about real estate, we're seeing majority of the product taking up. Like this one's a great example here. This PS4 game, you've got not a lot of space on the sides. The entire image is the product itself. Same goes for the shoes here. They're all really brightly lit up photos too, which is fantastic. I dare say that if I was to go ahead and click on one of these listings, we would have some really, really nice photos and quite a number of photos. The more photos, the better, guys. You know, you've got the opportunity to put 24 in. Why not at least get to 10? I think would be a great position to start with there. Some only blemishes that I've got here, just having a look at the photos, I do see quite a number of them are chopped off a little bit. You'll see there the CDs are slightly chopped off. The bag has got a slight little mark there of chop off. You want to make sure that you're using all the real estate, but you don't want to be cutting into the product. I'm not saying that these are really bad, but you can get ones that are missing quite a lot, and that's not what you want to do. So I don't know if there's any other examples that I can show you guys here, but there's a little cut in there. It just doesn't look as professional as it could if the product was, oh, there's another really one there. That's quite big. A lot of the product there missing. So you just want to make sure that you're capturing that little aspect. But outside of that, these photos are really, really good. Great product. There's a grey banner. I don't like grey banners, if you hadn't picked up on that yet. What else? We can have a look at titles. Now, I love their titles. Really, really enjoying the titles. And the reason why is because they are doing everything that we've just spoken about, doing all the fundamentals correctly here. If I took an example here of this DVD set of LOLO, if you were searching for LOLO, that is exactly how you would search for it. LOLO, and then you've got the series all numbered out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If anything, that DVD could go before series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could be LOLO DVD series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then BBC, region 2, very important for DVDs. And then the genre, it's war, comedy. It's also sealed. So, you know, using up all of the characters, 60 to 80 characters, putting in a bunch of benefits that the product is, putting in a bunch of characteristics for the product. Really, really good example of a great title. Same goes for the shoes here. We've got Nike Women's Air Max Infinity 2, US size 10, white, the model number, and then some keyword fillers, sneakers, and shoes. That is fantastic. Great, great title with great, great photos. So the only thing we need to look at now is our price points. And if we look at the price points collectively speaking, I'm not seeing any items here priced under $20 like you were seeing in the other store examples that we were looking at. You know, you've got bags here for $154.95. There's going to be hopefully some great profit in that if they bought at a decent purchase price. $60 on a compilation set of CDs. You know, this is a great example here of a way to be able to get a higher average sale price on a product that might not sell well individually. Like this set of CDs, we've got 9 CDs lotted up for a $60 sale price. That's only going to be one shipment cost. Where we were looking at the VHS store earlier in the video, and we were seeing that they were all individually listed, so they're going to be needing to be all individually shipped off, and that's going to get quite pricey, whereby if you had a stack of 7 or 8 VHS tapes, you could just go ahead and make a lot of 7 or 8 VHS tapes, price them all for $5 each, sell them for, 10 of them for $50. And then you're only having to ship them off once, and you might be facilitating the sale to a VHS collector. So that's something that you can look at as well to save yourself some money when it comes to structuring a higher average sale price on your item. She's doing the 95% trick. Every single one of these items is 95%. This $22.95 is probably one of the cheapest items in her store. 95, 60, 35, that's 20. That's probably the cheapest you'll see here in this store. And that's a really good indicator because in-demand items generally go for more money. So a higher average sale price, the faster the turnover, typically speaking. So I think her price points, her photos, her titles, I think all of this is dialed in. There's no wonder she's getting some fantastic sales coming through this store. I will say that there is a slight issue there with regards to pricing around this one here. Mario and the Rabbids Kingdom Battle Nintendo Switch. I dare say, if I was to have a chat with her, that I would believe that she's trying to profit on this item because I had a look to see what the value is and the best sale price on eBay is $30. So I can only think that she's spent quite a bit of money to buy this game and she's trying to hang out for a buyer to come along and buy it for $39.95 so she's profitable. Because I did have a look at a number of her listings and I noticed that the majority of them were very much correctly priced with the previously sold listings on eBay. So she's clearly doing her pricing research, She's clearly creating her own titles, and she's clearly got some fantastic photos to go along with it. So let's go into one of these products and we'll have a look at it. 100% positive feedback, a $39.95 purchase price. But what I'm absolutely loving down here is she's got quite a bit of information with regards to returns are accepted, which is brilliant. She's got the free postage. She's also got on some of her other listings, if I go into another one, let's go and have a look at Gavin and Stacey here. Not on that one. I was seeing before she had some that were same day postage, and she had some really nice markers that were saying that it would be able to ship out over the next few hours if somebody was to buy it. So she's clearly doing a same day or a 1 day shipping and handling time based on that information I was seeing. But the photos are great. All the benefits are great. Free postage model, 30-day free returns, or 30-day returns, buyer pays. She could be seller pays, which would be free returns. That would be a way to improve her listing somewhat. But to be honest with you, I can't really knock this store. They're doing a fantastic job, and hopefully you guys can see the reasons as to why. There it is there, Blue Voloshka. She's only got 12 followers, but I would recommend this being a store you guys should follow, just from an educational purpose standpoint. Really, really good result. So I've gone ahead and I've rated this one a 9 out of 10 for the photos, a 9 out of 10 for the title. And the price points, like that Mario that I was showing you before, I've given that an 8 out of 10 because I think that those price points could be slightly amended just to get the sale to come through, build up some cash flow, go again with the money that you've made off the sale, even if it is a slight loss. You've just got to learn your lesson at times with regards to those sort of situations. But a fantastic store. Slowly, incrementally improved, I think, as we went on through the videos. Seth's got a little bit of work to do. Joel's doing not too bad, but he's got some reasons to improve things. And then we've got Blue Voloshka with the girls doing really, really well with some fast sales, as we can see. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you're interested in doing a roast like this for your own store, go ahead and fill out your information linked in the description below. This is all I do, just help out eBay sellers with their store. So more than happy to assist. Drop your details in. We'll see you soon.